The call came on a Tuesday, a day as gray and ordinary as any other Chicago November. The phone rang, a landline number I didn't recognize. I answered, expecting a telemarketer. A man's voice, smooth and confident, asked, "Is Sarah there?" A simple question, but he didn't ask for Sarah Miller. He just asked for Sarah, like he knew her well enough to call our home, looking for her. That's when the first crack appeared in the foundation of my world. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. "Who's calling?" I asked, my voice tight. A brief pause, then, "Oh, sorry, wrong number." He hung up, but I knew. In that single frozen moment, I knew. My 10-year marriage was a lie. This story is going to be a tough one. If you've ever felt the sting of betrayal, stick with me. It's a long road, but you're not alone. And hey, if you find value in stories like this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel out, and you won't miss what's coming next. Looking back, the signs were all there, scattered like breadcrumbs. I was too blind to see. Sarah, my Sarah, had become a stranger. The late nights at the office became more frequent. She was a high-powered attorney downtown, so I never questioned it. Then there were the weekend work retreats that left her glowing, not tired. She started guarding her phone like it was the key to a national secret, the screen always angled away from me. Her laughter, once a sound that filled our Lincoln Park brownstone with warmth, was now reserved for texts that would make her smile mysteriously before she'd quickly type a reply. One evening I tried to hug her as she was getting ready for what she called a client dinner. She flinched, pulling away as if my touch burned her. "Don't, Mark," she said, her voice sharp. "You'll wrinkle my dress." The dress was a slinky emerald green number I'd never seen before. She looked stunning, and she wasn't dressing for me. The distance between us had become a canyon, and I was standing alone on one side, watching her wave from the other. The wrong number call was the push I needed to start digging.
Ow.
My hands were shaking so badly I could barely type, but I ran a search on that landline number. It traced back to a sleek, modern condo building in River North, a luxury high-rise. My mind raced. Who did she know there? The next day, feigning a sudden illness, I took the day off work. I drove to her office building on Wacker Drive and waited. I felt like a cheap PI in a bad movie, my stomach churning with a mix of dread and adrenaline. At 5:30, she walked out, not with her usual group of colleagues, but alone. She hailed a cab. I followed, keeping a safe distance, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. The cab didn't head north toward our home. It went south, weaving through the congested loop before pulling up right in front of that River North condo building. She paid the driver, and as she stepped onto the curb, a man emerged from the lobby. He was tall, impeccably dressed, with a smug smile that made my blood run cold. He wrapped an arm around her waist, pulled her close, and kissed her. It wasn't a peck. It was a deep, possessive kiss, right there on the sidewalk for the world to see. And Sarah, she melted into him. The sight shattered me. I felt the air leave my lungs, my vision tunneling until all I could see was them. I slammed my fist on the dashboard, a raw, guttural sound escaping my throat. It was the sound of my heart breaking. I drove home in a daze. The city lights of Chicago blurred into streaks of painful color through my tears. I stumbled into our house, the house we'd built a life in, and fell apart. I collapsed onto the floor of our living room, surrounded by photos of us smiling in Millennium Park, us on our honeymoon in Italy, us on the day we bought this very house. Every memory was now tainted, a cruel joke. The loyalty and love I had given her for a decade meant nothing. The man in the photos with her, the happy, trusting man, he was a fool. I lay there for hours, the grief a physical weight pressing down on me. But as the first light of dawn crept through the windows, the sorrow began to curdle. It hardened into something cold, something sharp. It turned into rage. She had underestimated me. She saw a devoted, gentle husband, was about to meet the man she created. The next morning, I was a new person. The grief was still there, a low hum beneath the surface, but it was now fuel. My mission was clear. I would not just leave her. I would dismantle her life with the same meticulous care she used to hide her affair. First evidence, I installed a keylogger on our home computer and discreet spyware on her old tablet she barely used, but which was still synced to her cloud account. It didn't take long. emails, texts, photos. His name was Alex, a real estate developer. They met at a fundraiser 6 months ago. Their messages were sickeningly sweet and brutally explicit. They mocked me, called me predictable, boring. They had even spent a weekend in our Lake Geneva vacation home while I was on a business trip. My own bed. Fury was a white-hot fire in my chest, but I channeled it. I downloaded everything. Dates, times, locations. I printed hotel receipts, chat logs, everything. I built a mountain of proof. Next, the law. I found the most ruthless divorce attorney in Chicago. In our first meeting, I didn't cry or rage. I calmly laid out the binder of evidence. The lawyer's eyes widened. "Mr. Miller," he said, a slow smile spreading across his face. "This is what we call a slam dunk. We worked in secret for weeks. Sarah had a significant trust fund from her grandparents, one I'd never touched or even asked about. But under Illinois law, any appreciation in its value during our marriage was marital property. Her affair, my lawyer explained, made her negotiating position non-existent. We prepared the paperwork to freeze her assets, including the trust fund, the moment I served her the papers. The final piece was social. Sarah cared about one thing more than money, her reputation, her perfect image among Chicago's elite, her standing at her law firm, her picture-perfect life. I waited for the perfect moment, the firm's annual charity gala, the biggest social event of her year. The night arrived. She was radiant, wearing a gown that cost more than my car, completely oblivious. She mingled, laughing that fake laugh, Alex shadowing her from a distance. I watched from the bar, sipping a club soda, a phantom in the background of her perfect life. At 9 p.m., as the firm's managing partner took the stage for the main speech, I made my move. I walked to the center of the ballroom right in front of the stage. A few people noticed me, confused. Sarah saw me, and for the first time, a flicker of panic crossed her face. I took a deep breath. "Excuse me," I said, my voice amplified by the microphone I'd snatched from a nearby stand. "I'm sorry to interrupt." The room went silent. Every eye was on me. "My name is Mark Miller, and that woman," I pointed directly at Sarah, "is my wife. For 10 years, I thought we had a perfect marriage. But it seems I was just the boring, predictable husband who paid the bills while she had her fun." A collective gasp went through the room. I looked at Alex. "And you," I said, my voice dripping with ice. "You must be Alex. Thank you for taking such good care of my wife. In our home, in our vacation house, even on trips you took with money from her trust fund, a fund that, as of an hour ago, is completely frozen by court order." I then looked back at Sarah. Her face was ashen, a mask of pure horror. "Sarah, you're being served." At that exact moment, a process server I'd hired stepped forward and handed her a thick legal envelope. "I've filed for divorce on grounds of adultery. All the proof has been sent to your firm's managing partners and your parents. Enjoy your evening." I dropped the mic. It clattered on the floor, the sound echoing through the stunned silence. I turned and walked out of that ballroom without looking back, leaving the smoldering ruins of her life behind me. Now, silence fills the rooms where her laughter once echoed.